Thank God for the wake up. Thank God for the wake up. Thank God for the wake up. Good morning. How is everyone doing today? My bad. God morning and good morning. Seriously. Um, Hope everyone is having a blessed day to start their day. We are, what is it, September 9th? No, September 19th, excuse me, 2023. Welcome to another episode of Talking Cancer, My Journey, My Way. I am your host, Luis Lopez. Welcome, welcome. I'd like to welcome everybody from all around the world tuning in. And don't forget to go ahead and like and subscribe or follow. That will be very helpful. Um, as you know, we're here to continue to bring you uh, just um just information on cancer, the journey, whatever it is that I feel like talking about um, on a regular basis. So today is a good day. I did have to. Yesterday was a day off for me, so but I had to go take care of a few things. The cars I needed some work, needing some work done. So that kind of stuff had to get done yesterday. Um, Brakes all around, new rotors, things like that. Um, and even got an oil leak in one of my other cars. So, that's going to have to be addressed like real soon, probably next week or something. Um, just got to I don't feel like doing it personally, um, but definitely got to find a mechanic to make this happen. Somebody that's not going to hit me over the head with, you know, a large number. Anyways, today I wanted to talk to you about recurrence. Um, what is recurrence? Well, recurrence is, basically the cancer coming back, but now it's coming back um, more than likely in a vital organ or something like that, and that's when it tends to, they consider that metastasis, that it metastasized, where it's moved on and went somewhere else. But last year in November, there was an article published in Science Daily. Now, this article is it was produced November 9th, 2022. The source of this article was the Institute for Research in Biomedicine, Barcelona. Um, it's an interesting article, and their discovery of residual cells, that they called it. And I found it interesting when I was talking about, because now I notice the talk about immunotherapy, things like that, and that wasn't talked about a couple years ago. At least I didn't hear about it. It wasn't brought to me at that time, but I did hear about it after my second diagnosis, and I also heard about it a little bit before that. As I tend to have, kind of followed along. And just words and things just start to stand out. When you start, listening and watching TV and things like that. Now these commercials and things like that start to become important. You know what I mean? Um, so these words kind of stood out, and and then I noticed that when I went to go talk to the doctor after my second diagnosis, he said, I inquired about immunotherapy, and he was like, "Nah, it's not good for you. You're already past that kind of thing." So, anyways, I wanted to go ahead and read this article, and just so you guys could have a better understanding of recurrence and residual cells and how this thing kind of operates, because it's very imperative that you get your pre-screening and things like that, and catching it at an early age so you don't have recurrence. You know what I mean? So the thing is to catch it early. So it's very important. So let me read this article to you, and hey, take it how you wanna. It starts off. It says colon cancer is the third most common cancer in the world, with about 2 million new cases each year. Most patients are diagnosed when the tumor is still located in the colon or rectum. These tumors are removed by surgery and in many cases are treated with chemotherapy in an attempt to prevent relapse. However, for between 20 to 35% of patients, the cancer reappears in the form of metastasis in other vital organs. These are caused by residual tumor cells that remain hidden at the time of surgery. Metastases are the leading cause of death for almost all types of cancer, including colon cancer. Most colorectal cancer research has focused on the primary disease. In recent years, there have also been important advances in the characterization of metastatic disease once it manifests. However, until now, it had not been possible to study this small population of disseminated tumor cells that is invisible to the diagnostic techniques used in the clinic. This lack of knowledge has resulted in the dearth of effective therapies to eliminate residual disease and prevent metastatic recurrence, which has a poor prognosis. Scientists in IRB Barcelona, led by Dr. Edward Batal, um, ICREA researcher and group leader with the Cancer Cyber Network, have for the first time identified residual tumors hidden in the liver and lung, and have described how they evolve to rise to the appearance of metastasis in these organs. Understanding and avoiding the phenomenon of relapse after surgery is an unresolved medical need. After many years investigating colon cancer, we have taken the first step to prevent metastasis in patients who present with localized disease. And then it goes on to say, how does colon cancer reoccurrence occur? Scientists have developed a new experimental type mouse. I don't want to go in. They did some search in a mouse, basically. So this is how their model came about, and they found it. Okay, so defining high relapse cells. Scientists have known for years that colon cancer are composed of different types of tumor cells which perform different or distinct functions during the progression of the disease. Within the mixture of cell types, the drive colon cancer, researchers led by Patel have identified a population that they have called HRCs, or high relapse cancer cells. High relapse cells. These cells have little proliferative activity and do not contribute to the growth of the primary tumor. However, clusters of HRCs are capable of detaching from the main tumor, migrating to the bloodstream, reaching the liver, and remaining hidden for some time after surgery. In samples from patients with colon cancer, researchers have been able to verify the presence of these same cells in those individuals at the greatest risk of relapse after treatment. The researchers have also confirmed that eliminating these cells through genetic techniques is significant to prevent the formation of metastasis. That is, mice with colon cancer remain disease-free after removal of the primary tumor and do not experience subsequent relapse. Dr. Patel's team has also developed a therapeutic strategy to specifically eradicate residual disease and prevent recurrence. They have demonstrated that incipient metastases that are not yet visible can be eliminated by treatment with immunotherapy prior to surgery. Our discovery reveals how the group of tumor cells responsible for relapse behave and also the genes that define them. In addition, it represents a proof of concept that paves the way for the development of new therapies specifically aimed at eliminating residual disease as well as diagnostic tools to identify those patients at the greatest risk of relapse. Finally, our study points to the need for a revision of the clinical guidelines in the treatment of this type of cancer because in many cases it would be advisable to prescribe immunotherapy before surgery, concludes Patel. These discoveries open the possibility of developing new lines of research. Patel's laboratory is now focused on studying when HRCs that have reached the liver become activated to regenerate a tumor with the aim to interfere with this process and prevent the formation of metastasis. They are also looking to identify the factors that influence the appearance of these cells and why the number of these cells varies from one patient to another. So yeah, this is it's pretty interesting to be able to identify these residual cells, and not only identify the residual cells, but identify the residual cells in particular patients that show the possibility to have a higher risk. I think that's really interesting because this happened last year or whatever, and I think that might have been around the time that I started hearing more about immunotherapy. Now, were they doing it clinically already? I would probably have to do more research and why. But that explains to me why they start you off, especially at an early stage, that they start you off with immunotherapy, because the immunotherapy will lots of times stop the residual cells going or kill the residual cells that are possibly hiding in the liver or lungs. So I found that article very, very interesting, to say the least. And definitely, something, probably I would say, pretty groundbreaking to find, that the cancer cells are so smart that they detach and hide. That's crazy. It's crazy logic to me. That these cancer cells or residual cells, whatever you want to call them, are that smart. They played hide go seek. Like, I started over here, but now I know you're gonna go ahead and find me, try to get rid of me. But I've already started the process of something else over here. That's mind blowing to think about. They're basically like cloning themselves, really, right? Cloning themselves and relocating. That's amazing. And now that that was done, that research was done and found in Barcelona. Now, I'm assuming that it somehow got to the States, somehow, because we now offer immunotherapy in the early stages of colon cancer or colorectal cancer. So yeah, you know, I think that's big news. Round of applause, right? Let me see. Do I have a round of applause? Anyway, something like that. You know, yeah, I've never used that before. Um, but yeah, I thought that would be a very, very interesting topic to talk about today. Just so you guys know that with this pre-screening, um, in the likelihood of you know unfortunate diagnosis, because I don't wish it on nobody, but if you were to have this diagnosis of having colon cancer, colorectal cancer, and you catch it at the early stages, you know, one, as you know, colon cancer or colorectal cancer is one of the most curable cancers. Yes, the most curable if you catch it early, you know? But now, once you get into the later stages, that's when you start having the problem. You know, at least this is what they say. So, um, get screened. Find out if you have it. Go order you some Cologuard and do a stool sample. Send it in. Whatever, whatever it is that you need to do to be ahead of the game. What Sugar Free say? Sugar Free say you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Right? So handle that. This is huge. It's one of those things where and you don't want to relapse, because if it relapse or you have a recurrence, that means you've headed over into the metastasis side of the things. That means that the possibility of a cure has pretty much diminished. Okay, as of at this time, it has diminished. It's gone. So, think about that. Think about the percentages and things like that. You go from a survival rate of like 70 and above. I think it's higher than that, to be honest with you. I gave it a low number, I believe. But a survival rate, catching it early, of 70 above to after metastasis to 20% and under. So definitely be thinking about this. Remember that immunotherapy is something that's very helpful in killing residual cells, so you don't have a relapse. So you're able to treat the initial tumor and also kill the residual cells, so you don't relapse. What was it, 20 to 35% of people don't relapse with immunotherapy? That's a big number. Raises your chances of living a long life. God forbid anything else happen to you, but seriously. So figure that out. Do your thing. Don't forget, you're listening to Talking Cancer, my journey, my way. Like, follow, subscribe, and that's my time. I'm out. Peace, love, one.